Om Shanti. Good evening. Okay, so we have Sister Denise Lawrence in front of us. She is basically from UK and she is associated with the Brahma Kumaris for more than 36 years. And she is one of the most sought after performer, a workshop leader and a broadcaster in several countries including India. More than a double foreigner, we can even say that she is an Indian, because we have one more program, our value education program, which the Brahma Kumaris are offering in technical collaboration with, initially we started with Annamalai University, and then now it has spread to many other universities throughout the country, which is a course on value education and spirituality. We have post-graduation diploma, MBA and MCA, yes. And now Sister has been one of the key role players and an instrument for framing, designing the contents of the course, the whole course. So the credit goes to her and of course to the Supreme Soul as well. And so now she is currently based between London and Mount Abu. Now we'll hear from Sister on the Supreme Power. Shanti.
Om Shanti. I have a little problem with the voice, but you can hear me, yes? Okay. Anyway, God is silent. Is that right? So it's all right. Just give me a sign you believe in the Supreme Power. Thank you. And all our scientists, yeah. You're all scientists, yeah. IT means science, yeah. IT means you deal with computers, mathematics, all this. So that is very materialistic approach to existence, no? Yet, everyone believes in the Supreme Power. So since I am limited in this way, you can hear me okay? Yeah. So it is a signal that we have to go deep inside. I try with this. Meditation has 2 steps. One step, we have to turn within and be connected with the self, the soul. The seat of the soul, you know. Third eye point. So the first thing is to sit here. The soul is a tiny point of light. From the point of view of geometry, a point has no length, no width, no depth. A point has no size, but yet it is there, yes? The point is the interface between the material world and non-material world. You have to go there, to that form of the point. That is the self, the soul. The point also is a symbol of 0. Is that right? Shunya. 0. It means I exist, but I'm not come into action yet. First, there is consciousness, and then you may be aware of the new theoretical physics, is that right? In which it is said that consciousness precedes matter. Are you familiar with this? This has been emerging in the last decade or so, and is of importance and relevance to spiritually minded people, because something which is scientific, something which can be proved, you say it's real. Otherwise, something which is spiritual, you say is imaginary, is not real, is for old ladies and children. But now that they say that consciousness precedes matter, it means I, the self, exist independently of matter. Then the soul comes into matter, comes into action. Now we are all, we are in the body, we are in the material world, we are playing our roles, yeah. But meditation means withdraw from the world of action. Withdraw to this point. Become still. Become bodiless. You normally identify with your body. You say, I am a man, or I am a woman. Is that right? There's no third possibility. The soul is genderless. The body may be male or may be female, but the soul has no gender. But the soul is what we are. Where do we come from? How did we get here? You know, in Europe there is an image of a bird carrying a baby from the sky. Have you seen that picture? Why is that? Everybody knows a baby comes a different way. Why do they show that? Because this refers to the fact that the soul flies. The soul leaves one body, flies at the speed of thought, incarnates in an embryo, and then emerges as a baby. And then we live our life, we play our role, and then after some time, inevitably, we have to go. Everyone here believes reincarnation, yes? Who does not? Nobody. You all reincarnate. So how many times? You don't know. Few times, right? Question arises, am I getting better with each reincarnation? Or am I slipping? Am I declining? What you think? Progressing? Who is progressing? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Who is declining? A There is a very famous poem by Shakespeare, one of the sonnets, in which he says, can you hear me? He says that you can't hear in the back, so you come in the front. Whoever can't hear, you come in the front. Mic is as close as possible. I was okay 10 minutes ago. But anyway, it is drama. So the soul leaves one body, takes another, leaves one body, takes another, leaves one body, takes another. From your scientific perspective, you know, an energy comes into motion through matter. What happens? What happens? You lose power. Is that right? Right or not right? Is right. Same way the soul takes one body, lives, uses power, leaves that body, takes another, lives, uses power. Your power is declining and declining and declining. Is that logical? Yes. So now, do you feel spiritually depleted? Yes. How many spiritually depleted? Because it's tiring to take one body, live, leave that body, take another body, live, leave that body. You get tired, right? Just like my voice is run out of power. It will come back in a couple of days. Anyway, so from where will you get the power to come back to your original stage? When was your first incarnation? You can't remember, it's too long ago. But you know that it must have happened at some point, that there was a birth number one, and now you are, after so many births, birth number, I'm tired now. Take me home, please. Yes. But we need what spirituality is all about. So, when it works a little bit. So this supreme power, who is that? Supreme power is not a human being. Is that right? So supreme power is someone or something. Someone. Something. What do you think? Something or someone. Something. Okay. Something. Matter is preceded by consciousness, you know. Correct? Not correct. Correct, right? Okay, let's try this one. I have so many. Okay, no problem. What have you got? Hello, Alan. Well, you see, so many people love me. Let's try. Consciousness precedes matter. Supreme power also precedes matter. Yes or no? know that consciousness precedes matter. You are conscious. Supreme power is less powerful than you, more powerful than you, more powerful. You are more powerful than your body. Yes. A supreme power is more powerful than you. So your body is something. Yes. Or someone. Something. If you leave your body, you have a corpse. The name of the corpse is the remains. What's left when the soul has flown away. That means your body is a something. It has no power. You are the power in this body. Who animates this body, correct? You are depleted. You have used up all your power. You're tired. You want to go home. You can't go home, you have no wings. So supreme power must be a someone. Someone more powerful than you. Someone more powerful than matter. Matter is inert. If there would be no consciousness, no one would know if there is any matter or not. Is that right? How do you know there is matter? Because you are conscious. But you lost power. That means you need someone more powerful than you. Supreme power is not human. Yes or no? Are you afraid of someone non-human? No, are you sure? Okay. Supreme power is invisible. You are also invisible, is that right? Have you ever seen your mind? Everybody has one. Where is it? You're sure you have one because you think. Where do you think? Somewhere up here. This is where your soul is sitting. This is the throne of the soul, the seat of the soul, the third eye. What can you see with your third eye? Those things which you cannot see with your two eyes, yeah? With your two eyes you can see everyday reality. You cannot see infrared, you cannot see ultraviolet, you cannot see gamma rays, X-rays, etc. Your senses can tell you only everyday reality. Beyond that, you need assisted perception. But with your third eye, you see things which are not material. Correct? When your third eye is closed, you don't see. Who opens your third eye? Trumbakeshwar. Have you heard of Trumbakeshwar? Trumbakeshwar means the god of the third eye. Who is that? Shiva. Shiva means zero. Is that right? One who is non-physical. One who is non-human. Shiva is called Sada Shiva, is that right? Sada Shiva means no change, always the same, never becomes depleted. The soul passes through the stages. Sato, Rajo, Tamo, is that right? How? You take one body, leave it, take another body, leave it, take another body, leave it. The soul gets worn out. The soul becomes depleted, impure, unable to function adequately. So what is needed? Power, correct? So the supreme power is that supreme being, supreme soul, who opens your third eye so that you can see three things. One thing you must see is yourself. Can you see yourself? Do you know who you are? Clearly you have no idea, right? You don't know who you are. You say, I am IT professional, but it's a designation, not really identity, you know. So identity is something very deep, something that is independent of your current incarnation. So the identity of a person is, I am a genderless being of light, incarnated in this form, performing my role. Is that right? But we don't know that so well. The whole subject of spirituality is investigation of this. Who am I? What am I? The first easiest question is, what am I? I'm a soul. I'm a being of light. I'm eternal. The soul is indestructible, but not immutable. The soul passes through stages, like the moon. When the moon is full, that's very nice. It becomes new moon. Then it becomes full moon again, continuously. It's a symbol of the changes that happen to the human soul. But the sun is always shining. The sun doesn't rise and set in that sense that it moves around the earth. No, you know that. The sun is stable in one place, and the light from the sun lights up the moon. The light of the moon is reflection from the sun, depending on its position. The sun is a symbol of the supreme being, supreme power, always the same, always shining. He is called Gyan Surya. But you got hot water. Very good. So much love. So the sun gives us light. We have to know how to take that light. We have to learn to take power. Every one of you has 3 or 4 mobile phones, is that right? At least. Mobile phone you have? Yes. You have to charge it. If your phone loses power, what do you feel? Tension. where is my charger? Where is the plug? This is what your mind is in that. You have yoga with the charger and the plug. So you can charge up your phone. Our soul is like a battery. It gets depleted. Our battery soul is so powerful, it can last for many, many births. But now we became very depleted, so we have to charge up. How do you charge a soul? We have to plug in. You've seen laser beams, right? Concentrated light. Light concentrated to such an extent can cut metal. You have to do the same with the energy of your mind. Normally the energy of your mind is scattered everywhere. Many people say we have difficulty to concentrate. You experience that? Difficulty to concentrate means the soul is weak. There's a muscle in the soul to concentrate. If you have to send a rocket to meet with a planet on a particular day, a particular time, at a very, very precise mathematics to do that. In the same way, you want to connect yourself, your soul, to that light. Where is that light? Not in this universe. Right? This universe is made from air, earth, fire, water, ether, correct? These are the stable elements. Beyond that there is sixth element, is that right? Sixth element of light. You cannot make contact with that through science. But you know that it's there. Sixth element of light. They call it Brahma Mahatattva. You know this one? Do you know this? You don't know. Brahma Mahatattva. You don't know. Well, there is the element of light. The end of the universe is a limit. It's a closed system. Outside there is something. The other side of matter. And the new theoretical physicists have detected this mathematically. And they have detected it through some experiments also. If you want to check this, you can see a physicist from Canada by the name of Lee Smolin. L-W-E-S-M-O-L-I-N. You can find the details. But in this region, that is where souls came from originally. When they came from this region originally, they were fully in their power. Powerful enough to go through many, many incarnations. But there's a limit. When you reach your limit, then what? Because the description of the soul is eternal and indestructible. You have seen this, right? So when it reaches the end of its power, in order to be eternal and indestructible, it has to be re-empowered. There has to be an encounter between the soul and the Supreme Power, so the soul can take full power from that source. So this is what you need, is that right? How can I go there, make contact, take power, and be fully empowered? So that is called yoga. Yoga means connection between I, the soul, here in this body, on this planet Earth. I have to go beyond the universe without rocket, using the power of the mind. So the power of the mind has to be focused, has to be strengthened. You cannot do this just like that. It takes a little while to accumulate technique, power, to be able to do that. Just like with money, you need money to make money, is that right? In the same way, you need some power to go and get more power. The first thing is you have to separate yourself from your body. Normally, you think, I am this. In your mind, begin to think, I am the light. This is my instrument. Just as in IT, we have software, hardware. Software means what? It's electronic signals. It's not so physical. Hardware is the machinery. Software by itself can't do anything. Hardware by itself, the hardware, you have to turn it on, make it run. Put the software, then you can do something. So your soul resembles the software. Nowadays, in one chip, how many gigabytes can you get? So many. Inside a human soul, imagine that chip with so many gigabytes, multiplied by hundreds of thousands. There you get every thought, every word, every experience, every action of a human soul contained in that point of light. That is a soul. Your whole story is contained in that point of light. And as you put that light into the body, you start to live out, second by second, the details of your story. This is the wonder of human life. So many rules, so many laws that govern human life, human happiness, human suffering. But ultimately, every thought, every feeling, every word, every experience, every desire, every disappointment, every single one is recorded in that little point of light. You know, what happened today you can remember, but your memory is not such that you can remember 20 births, 30 births. You cannot remember your next 20 births. You have no idea. With difficulty you can remember last week, right? You know. So our memory is not in very good order. We say, oh, I can't remember. I forgot. Oh, you promised. promised you would do this. Oh, sorry, I forgot. You know? So just as in IT you give a lot of importance to memory, in the same way, when the soul is fully empowered, you can remember your whole entire story, your eternal story. You can know who you are. That is amazing, no? Who knows, who knows you? Who knows you? You say, oh, God knows, right? That's correct. But you don't know how. You don't know in what way, you know. Well, why do we say God knows? The relationship between I, the soul, and the Supreme Soul is that soul knows exactly who I am. All my history. If you are programmers, you know what's in the program, right? You sell that program to someone, you tell them a little bit, you don't tell them the whole thing. Is that right? And they would have control. God, the Supreme Soul, He knows every detail of everyone. He says, yeah, you are this child, you are this child, you are this child. Every soul is child of the Supreme Soul. What is the meaning of being a child? A son, you know. Imagine if you're in a female body, but you're a genderless soul. That means you're a son. What is the speciality of a son in relationship to a father? The speciality is inheritance. Is that right? So what do you inherit? You inherit the property of the Father. Do you know how much property is owned by the Supreme Soul? You would say, well, at least the whole universe, right? That's the property of the Supreme Soul. And the Supreme Soul is called the knowledgeful one. So all the knowledge that you know and all the knowledge that you don't know is known to that one. All that knowledge is included in your inheritance. So that's worth having, don't you think? If you are a child of a very rich person, you always know at some time this will be mine. Is it right? In the same way, when the soul knows I am a son of the Supreme Being, all his property will be mine. Then he says, well, you know, are you competent to handle it? That's an important question. Do you have the competence to manage it? You know, what is held in that supreme power, we would say, is the Almighty, right? That means He has power. That means you will inherit power. Can you handle power? Can you handle it? Power is a tricky thing. It can corrupt you, isn't it? You may have seen when somebody gets in a position of power, something happens, they get corrupted, and they say, he's gone. You know? So you want power, but you don't want to be corrupted by it. So that means there's a question of purification. Yoga also means purification. Because if we take that full inheritance, but we are not fully competent to manage it, then we would mess it up very quickly. Very quickly. That would not seem right. So we have to go through a course of study to learn how to be capable to manage the inheritance. It makes sense, right? Inheritance management. So this is why we learn yoga. First we have to awaken the self as a soul, become aware I am here, and learn how to travel with the mind. So you have to make the mind so concentrated that you can send it far, millions of miles, beyond space, beyond time. Your mind can go beyond space and time. Your mind can go to yesterday and tomorrow. Your mind can go to things which never happened, which never will happen. Your mind has no limit, but it's not under control. It's out of control. So the Supreme Being teaches Raj Yoga. Raj Yoga means that yoga by which you become a Raja. Raja means a king over your mind, over your thinking, over your feelings, over your emotions, over your doubts, over your uncertainties, over your anxieties, all these things, so that you become free. Most important is to be free in your power, and then gradually go there, enjoy the encounter with the Supreme Being, draw light. Contained within that light is a lot of power, and the power in the Supreme Soul, as you bring it into yourself, it acts like a catalyst. It causes the negativity in the self to come out. You have heard Vaidyanath, right? Vaidyanath, Trumbakeshwar, Vaidyanath, same person. Is that right? Vaidyanath means what? I give you medicine. What happens when you get medicine? All the illness comes out. So the Ved says, don't be afraid. Your illness will come out, and then you will be clean inside. In the same way, take light from the Supreme Being. It will cause your negativity, which is deeply buried in your subconscious. Where do your sins live? Where do they live? Your sins have to live somewhere, and they live in your subconscious. It's a good place for them. And they do their work unknown, you know. They make you repeat those same things. You don't know where it came from, why, how come. It's subconscious. So Vaidyanath brings it from the subconscious to the conscious mind. And then he gives you power. Power to manage your emotions. Because your sins come up in the form of disturbed emotions, is it right? And so it's difficult to manage disturbed emotions. You always want to, put it on someone. When you're angry, what to do with that emotion? You can't hold it. You put it on someone or something, or the dog or the cat or the child or the wife, someone, because you can't hold it, So you need power to hold it and to make it disappear. Because what is negative emotion? It's nothing really. It's a charge, like a lightning, static. We have to be able to manage it. When you take light, take power from the Supreme Being, all these things manage it, make it dissipate, and slowly take power into yourself and become really true, Because usually when we ask people, what do you want? It's a deep question. You ask yourself, what do you want? Usually people say, well, I want to be real, I want to be authentic. Is that about right? You want to be real? Yes. Not I want an ice cream, that's a small thing. But I want to be a millionaire, that's also a small thing. I want to be right with myself, Especially if you're a soul, you have to live with yourself forever. It's a long time, So to be right with the self, so that I am real, I am true. Whatever I do corresponds to who I am, A person like that, they're very powerful. Is that right? And when someone like that, when they do something, it'll be very beneficial, very meaningful. And you will say, yes, it is worth, a human life is worth it, So, basically, what I'm wanting to say to you and I'm sorry about the voice, but take time to think about this dimension of yourself, the eternal dimension, the invisible dimension, the deeper dimension, the internal, eternal aspect of yourself, and take note that this is the time to empower the self. This is the time when the soul is weakest. This is the time when knowledge is maximum. We have to bring that knowledge to bear on that disempowered soul, to make the soul suitable heir to the inheritance from the Supreme Being, and take that inside. So we have a little time, and I would like to do some meditation with you. Is that okay? So we can have a little bit of some music, very low because I don't have much voice.
He has a question, Denise Ben.
Yes. Okay, first question is the Supreme Soul, you see my voice came back, is the Supreme Soul keeping track of karma? Not necessary. The law of karma is similar to any of the laws of physics. Nobody needs to keep track, they know their job. They do what they have to do. The laws of karma are very complex and very subtle, just as are the laws of matter. In a basic way, whatever is a negative karma, you will get negative result. Whatever is positive karma, you will get positive result. It's an automatic machinery. What the Supreme Soul does is he keeps track of you. Where is my child? Where is he? What is he doing? How is he feeling? How can I help him? This kind of thing. Second question, multiplication of souls. Actually, there's a fixed number of souls. You cannot increase, you cannot decrease. But souls are either on earth or in this world of light. There is a time cycle. As the time cycle begins, souls begin to descend onto the earth. It's a one-way traffic. Once you come, you have to reincarnate until the end. Souls continue to come. Now we have many souls. I believe we are somewhere approaching 8 billion souls in the world. I don't know what is the exact final fixed number of souls, but not too many more. When all of the souls are here, then they will return like a swarm of bees. And then start again, slowly, slowly, coming down, then return. Then your third question, what was it? All the karma is settled, then what? All the karma is settled, you have to settle your karma. This is the thing. You cannot return to the world of souls having debt. So, there are a few ways to settle your karma. One way is through yoga. This is the preferred way, because how you settle your sins through yoga is you bring them from the subconscious to the conscious, and you have to deal with them by your spiritual powers. Yes, you have to accumulate slowly over time. This is what Raj Yogis do. And this is why we teach you Raj Yoga, so that you can also have the option to do that if you so choose. Other way is through illness. You know, when you have some physical illness or some mental illness or some disability, you can suffer socially or financially or in many, many ways. In different kinds of suffering is a form of settlement of karma. And there's a third way to settle karma, which is an end of time, when souls are in this, and Islam speaks of it as Qayamat. You know this? Qayamat. So, in that time, everything is done through visions. So, 1 second can feel like 1,000 years, but all of this is described in different scriptures. But it happens like in a visionary way. Then only the soul is free, you see. So why we do Raj Yoga is we don't need to go through that stuff. We can finish ourselves. It's more dignified. The more you are your own master. So you, time by time, say to all of your negative karma, okay, come, I will deal with you. You just come up and I will deal with you. And as you do that, you become more strong, you become more experienced. And you also learn that don't make new negative karmas, because you only have to add to your debt. It's not necessary. Is it okay? Any other question? Yes, you have one.
The Supreme Soul is going to stay forever. What is the need for inheritance?
If the Supreme Soul is going to stay forever, what is the need for inheritance? Well, your assumptions, his assumptions, may not be true. And this is the thing. The Supreme Soul comes and interacts with humanity during the time we call the time of creation, and gives your inheritance, and then retires. And then you have to manage your inheritance for your next many, many births. Supreme Soul will not be there. Supreme Soul will be detached.
One more question. So, what is the need for the Supreme Soul if the law of karma is going to manage itself? What is the need for the Supreme Soul to actually exist?
The need for the Supreme Soul to actually exist is that you do not know how to settle your karma unless the Supreme Soul educates you. So one reason is you need education in the laws of karma so that you can take responsibility for your karmas. Secondly, you need power because you're completely depleted and you cannot do your next cycle unless you get charged up. So the need of the Supreme Soul is to purify you and to fill you with light, with power, so that your battery can last for another time cycle. That's the need. Your karma is as a machine, but you don't understand the machine. So Supreme Soul will explain you that entire thing. Once you know the laws, then you are the master. So Supreme Soul gives you that mastery, gives you your dignity, gives you your power, makes you into the self you always wished you could be but never dreamt that you could really be. You know, so it's a very beautiful thing. You know, you had a question. If the Supreme Soul has all the power, how to impress the Supreme Soul?
Supreme Soul also having every power. So I am also doing, everybody is doing meditation. So he is also thinking that what this person is doing extracurricular activities.
Not really. Let me tell you. How do you impress the Supreme Soul?
Yes.
It's a really good question. Because as you say, the Supreme Soul has everything. There is nothing you can give to the Supreme Soul. If you think about your own parents, right? And they give you birth, they take care of you, they give you house, they give you education, they give you clothing, they give you, they raise you. And your gratitude for them is shown that what kind of person you become. Because what they want to be is proud of you. If you become a criminal and you finish off the inheritance in 1 year and you defame the name of the family, that's not impressive. So in the same way, as a child of the Supreme Soul, if you take all of his teachings and you put them into practice and you show through your form, through your persona, through your character, you show that you are like God. Not only will that impress God, because he knows how difficult it is, it will also impress other people. So this is how you impress the Supreme Soul.
But there are some stories in Hinduism. So there are example, Annamaya is a songs. So he impressed a lot of Venkateshwara Swami. And example of Bhakta Prahalad also is impressed to some people. So there is any way for Raj Yoga Center to helping going the initiative in this?
You see, people like to help each other, right?
Okay.
But really, what we have to do is we have to help ourselves. We have to take benefit. We have to take advantage. I think it's very good if we are inspirational for another person. I don't know how many people you've tried to change in your life. Have you tried to change anyone? Your children, your work colleagues, your friends. People usually try to change other people. It can't be done. It's very difficult to change anyone. They don't want you to change them. Leave me alone. But what you want to do is become an embodiment of the teachings of the Supreme Soul. It's very beautiful, very impressive. There's a lot of hands going up. There's one in the back there. Yes, please. Okay, yes,
Shanti.
please.
Om Shanti. Just wanted to, what I understand from your conversation, like, the best way to elevate our sense is through spirituality when we connect with the Supreme Power. Now, what I understood before this conversation, the best way to elevate our sense is to help other people because we are living on this earth. So I just wanted to understand from your perspective, like we are, gradually after taking so many births, we have reduced our power of soul. So like we do the karmas also. So how significant, the karmas play a role in increasing our soul power?
Yes, very, very good question. When we help another person, when we do charity, we give benefit. And we give one, we receive one. With the Supreme Soul, you do one thing which Supreme Soul instructs. You receive 100,000 in return. So it's better economics. We may do something good for someone, and on the other side we may do something bad also. So you gain a bit, you lose a bit. So eventually your account is still generally going down, because we don't know quite enough to take this quite heavy debt and finish it and accumulate an income of multi-millions, which can last us for many, many births. So this the Supreme Soul teaches us about, which we otherwise wouldn't know, that is within our capacity. I think those who have questions down the back, you come in front, because the mic is in front, please.
How do we get power from Supreme Soul? What is the correct way of
How do we get what?
power?
How do we get power?
Yeah.
That's what I was wanting to show you in the meditation. You take power first, you have to separate yourself from your body, which you do through your mind. You focus on yourself as a soul, and you consciously leave your body by thinking about it. You allow your body to just sit there, and you take your body far. This requires concentration. It requires attention. It requires quite a bit of practice. And you go, you meet with the Supreme Being. And usually you can manage 1 second, if you're lucky. You have to practice to extend it. If you would be struck by lightning, how much power would go through you? When you go to the Supreme Soul, you're doing something similar, but you have to be able to manage it. So you take little bit more, until you get able to take a large amount. So you take increments, little, just as when you plug in your phone to charge your battery, you have to plug in your soul to Supreme Being and take. But because it's so subtle, for you to make that contact, you have to be very stable, steady, and touch, take in power, come back, go again and again, gradually hold it longer, better, takes time. But you start with 1 second, you start with 1 step. Yeah. So there was someone in the back. Yeah.
Sister.
Please, yeah.
Just related to this only, we cannot see, means we believe what we can see, but we cannot see ourselves. No? When I am talking to you, this is a soul that is talking to you through the mouth and just the hands. But same way we cannot see the Supreme Soul. So how do we actually believe in ourselves that we are a spirit and the Supreme Soul? And the Supreme Soul.
Yeah, well, I'm assuming that you understand mathematics, right? Is that right? Yeah. So there are many mathematical equations that you cannot represent visually, but you can conceptualize. Is that right? So you just take your intellect a next step further. Mathematics and aesthetics are very good bridges, you see, because you cannot really limit yourself to everyday perception through the five senses, especially if you're dealing with mathematics, science. So just because you cannot see an X-ray doesn't mean you don't know there is an X-ray, because you're able to perceive X-ray through some technical instrument. Now your third eye acts like an instrument that amplifies the capacity of your intellect to conceptualize that which is not material. This is why I made reference to the new physics. New theoretical physics has made that breach to go outside the limitation of matter and still say, yeah, this is still physics, but it's not limited to matter. It's not limited to what you can perceive through your senses or through technology that extends your senses, but through theoretical physics you can conceptualize. So if you can do that, you can head off towards spirituality, you can comprehend. Understand? So thank you very much. Any more question?
That's the last question, because
Okay.
after this we have the next session, and before that we want to be. That's why that will be the last question. Is that okay?
Thank you for adjusting. Thank you.
Thank you.
My question is very simple. How do I know where do I stand currently in terms of the karmic account, or you may call it in terms of the impurity or the depleted power that I'm carrying?
Yes.
And it's basically like how I can teach my child. Okay,
Well, first of all, you have to teach you.
Correct.
Your child will observe you. And if you're doing it right, he will figure it out really quickly. Yes.
Okay.
The target audience is you, not your child.
I just want to know, how do I come to know that?
Okay.
Where do I stand currently?
I'll tell you how you do it. You can sit down.
Thank you.
What you have to do, if you have time, sit down somewhere for 24 hours in silence and note the unwanted thoughts that arrive in your mind. And then go back into silence again and again and again. All these unwanted thoughts, these are your karmic accounts. And if you do it for 3 months, sit in silence for 3 months. Nobody has time for that. But if you break your leg or something, it might work. But, this is the usefulness of such situations. But, when you're in silence, your mind troubles you. Because all these things that are sitting in your subconscious, they start percolating up. You start remembering whatever's on your conscience. Someone wants to talk to me. And when you sit in yoga, so now you're going to listen to David. Do not listen to the music. Listen to yourself. Listen to your thoughts. Try and make them quiet. They will not leave you alone. They will bother you. So you have to say, okay, I understand, yes, okay. I'll deal with you later. And then, let me just put this on silent. Is it better? Hey. You know what to do. Anyway, this is really the sign of the negative karmas, emotions, doubts, the feelings, up and down, the sense of being lost, the sense of being not good enough, the sense of what will people think if they knew what I was really like. All this is your karmic accounts. So you have to let it come up and endure it and say, okay, let me put aside my ego. You see, your ego is a mask that covers up that. So it's a process. You begin to do it. But if you want to know where you are, that's the way. Go in silence for a good while. Now David will play for half an hour some little sounds. But don't listen. Just listen to your mind. And then put those thoughts away. And let yourself gradually become still, silent. Accept yourself, what you are. Turn your attention to God. Say, okay, God, I am really rather ordinary. I have a lot on my conscience. Can you please work with me to raise my level? Do that, and you will really feel that you're making serious progress. But for that, you have to be willing to give a little time in silence. Does it make sense to you? Thank you so much. Okay, we'll do a little meditation. So first of all, just allow the self to turn within. Go as deep inside as you can. And focus your attention on the center of the forehead. All the energy of your being is spread throughout your body, but with your mind, slowly pull it away from your hands and feet. Bring it up to the center of your body, and then from there into your head, and there a tiny point of light in the center of your forehead. And then go about 2 inches behind your face, so that you can feel, I am not this body. I am something different. I am the spirit that animates this body. I am the light. I am the life. I am the soul. And just allow yourself to rise up above your body just a little bit. like you go through a hole and you find yourself in the world of light. This is the world of souls. This is the region where the Supreme Power stays. Keep flying higher and see in front of you the most beautiful light, radiating sweet love, sweet peace, like waves pulsating, reaching you, covering you, passing through you, penetrating you. The light adds to your light. The light brightens your being. Allow yourself to drink this radiant light. Feel yourself getting charged up. Try to hold it, but yet you feel, yes, I have taken a drop from the ocean of light, and now gently, smoothly, let yourself drift back to the physical universe. Gently glide back here. Reconnect with your body and allow that extra energy, extra peace, extra love to flow throughout your being, throughout your body, so you can feel the nourishment, the sweetness, the realness filling you. And whenever you want, you can go and get some more.